Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Open the door. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya
Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Srotrata Srimad Bhangresh Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Srila Giriraj Krishna Sri Sri Radha Ramanju ki Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, The Passing Away of Bhīṣmadeva in the Presence of Lord Krishna. Text 1. Sūta
Uvāca.
Iti bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt.
Iti bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt.
Sarva-dharma-vivitsayā.
Sarva-dharma-vivitsayā.
Tato vinaśanaṁ prāgād. Yatra deva-vrato patat.
Yatra deva-vrato patat.
Sūta bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt.
Iti bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt.
Sarva-dharma-vivitsayā.
Sarva-dharma-vivitsayā.
Vinaśanaṁ prāgād.
Tato vinaśanaṁ prāgād.
Yatra deva-vrato patat.
Yatra deva-vrato patat.
Please recite.
Sūta Vāca. Iti bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt. sarva-dharma-vivitsayā. Tato vinaśanaṁ prāgād.
tato
ततो
vinaśanaṁ
विनाशनं
prāgād
प्रगादात्
yatra deva-vrato patat.
yatra
यत्र
devo
देवो
vrato patat.
व्रतोपतत् श्रुत उवाच
Sūta uvāca
इति पिता प्रजाद्रोहात्
iti vita prajā-drohāt
सर्वधर्मविवित्सया
sarva-dharma-vivitsayā
ततो विनाशनं प्रागात्
tato vinaśanaṁ prāgād
यत्र देवा व्रतोपतात्
yatra devo vrato patat.
Sūta uvāca
Sūta uvāca
iti bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt
iti vitaḥ prajā-drohāt
sarva-dharma-vivitsayā
sarva-dharma-vivitsayā
tato vinaśanaṁ prāgād
vinaśanaṁ prāgād
yatra deva-vrato patat.
यत्र
yatra
देवा
devo vrato
व्रतोपतात्
patat. Sūta uvāca
उवाच
Sri Sūta Gosvāmī said,
श्री सूत गोस्वामी said
iti
इति
thus
10
vitaḥ
वीतः
being afraid of
being afraid of
prajā-drohāt
prajā-drohat
because of killing the subjects.
because of killing the subjects
Sarva
sarva
all
all
dharma
dharma
acts of religion.
acts of religion
Vivitsayā
vivitsaya
for understanding.
for understanding
Yataḥ
tataha
thereafter
thereafter
vinaśanaṁ
vinaśanaṁ
place where the fight is held.
the place where the fight was held
Prāgād
prāgād
event.
event
Yatra
yatra
where
where
deva-vrataḥ
deva-vrataha
Bhīṣmadeva
Bhīṣmadeva
patat
apatat
lay down for passing away.
lay down for passing away.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Sūta Gosvāmī said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukṣetra, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira went to the scene of the massacre. There Bhīṣmadeva was lying on a bed of arrows about to pass away. In this 9th chapter, as it is willed by Lord Krishna, Bhīṣmadeva will impart instruction to King Yudhiṣṭhira on the subject of occupational duties. Bhīṣmadeva will also offer his last prayer to the Lord on the words of passing away from this mortal world, and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. Bhīṣmadeva was endowed with the power of leaving his material body at will, and his lying down on the bed of arrows was his own choice. This passing away of the great warrior attracted the attention of all contemporary elites, and all of them assembled there to show their feelings of love, respect, and affection for the great soul. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurbani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyata Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One significant word in this verse is prajā-drohāt. Bhītaḥ prajā-drohāt. This is very, very important. After winning the battle in Kurukshetra, a karmi, in a very natural way, would have been so elated that he would have cared anything for the opinion of public. But the reverse in case of Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is very much noticed. He was victorious. His brothers were victorious in the battle. The world recognized that they are the victorious people. But nonetheless, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was afraid of general population because most of them have lost their near and dear ones. I don't think that any family was left whose at least a member was not part of this great battle. From where even 640 million soldiers were killed, you can easily see that you think that, suppose we say 640 million or 64 crore. Imagine today's population. Today's population is 7 billion. That means 700 crore. In 700 crore, how many families would be there? If you take minimum 4 or 5 per family, for family it will be more. What am I saying? If you look at in a conservative estimate of 5 per family, so 700 means how many? 700 divided by 5. 140. So 140 crore family as of now. That's minimum. Not minimum, I don't know how many family would be there because, you see, I had gone recently to Ranchi. I saw, I met a specific person, and in his family, at least all his 3 sons, 3 daughters-in-law, his wife, his grandchildren, everybody was living there. So I don't think it will be less than 20 members. So normally in West, the family size would be very small, and in Indian subcontinent, the family size would be bigger. So that's what I meant. Of course, if you look at the time of Mahabharata, those days, even Kuru family was so huge. Kuru family was so huge. So those days, the families would be very big. Assume even 100 crore families were there. When 64 crore people are dying, you can invariably say literally every family has contributed 1% to the battlefield of Kuruksetra, and they have lost their life. So this is something very simple calculation you can make. So obviously, a pious king like Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, he is empathetic. Because for him, he is not the center. For him, if you are a king, the the population have to be in the center. A king must rule the kingdom for the welfare of the population. So prajā-drohāt bhītaḥ. Raja Yudhiṣṭhira was very much afraid of public outrage. We see that even the Islamic countries, they had public anger against their rulers some years back. And people are very much afraid. And also, when I was in Europe, I was in Germany in 2000, that time, I noticed that because of communism, the way it was spreading, and literally more than half of the Europe was under communism, and Soviet USSR, so combinedly taking, and people thought that this communism will take over. So that is why literally all other European states became welfare state. They gave as much freedom, as much liberty, as much social welfare scheme for their population. I still remember in Germany, those days, German government accepted those Germans from Russia who were trapped in World War II. And when they came back, so they were all given 1,000 Deutschmark for doing nothing. So there are many devotees who also returned from Russia to Germany. So they are getting 1,000 Deutschmark. So they thought this is very nice, right? They don't have to do anything. So they put in the pocket and started, they would take some rented apartment, stay there and chant Hare Krishna. So this is what also I had noticed. I had noticed also in Germany those days, if you don't have a job, then German government will give you some Deutschmark. That is not a small amount, 600 to 1,000 Deutschmark they get if you don't have a job. So basically, every government is afraid of public outrage. And that is the driving force for public leaders to conduct themselves. Just like in Indian Parliament, after every 5 years, the leaders have to go back to the people and seek vote. So all these issues are there. So this is also there. Those days, even there was monarchy system, people were afraid of, the kings were also afraid of prajā-drohāt, revolt of people. But the fact is, you cannot cater to the sense gratification of the people because you can never satisfy them. So you must give them protection. While giving protection, the ultimate protection is to give them Krishna consciousness. You cannot force Krishna consciousness. So what a king must do? King must create favorable opportunity for all those who are eager to participate in Krishna consciousness. To cultivate Krishna consciousness. I was, when I was in bank of Ganga recently with Srinivas Krishna Prabhu, I was telling Srinivas Krishna Prabhu that we should have a tent, and then we trek along the Ganga. While wherever we put our tent, we stay there. And suddenly we gave up that idea because you can put the tent along the river Ganga, but then the toilet, where you will use the toilet, and we didn't want to dirty the river bank. So we gave up that idea. But I still remember in Germany, we devotees in the summer will take the tent and go to the jungle and put the tent there, and we'll do kirtan and chant and do trekking. It used to be a lot of fun. 7, 8 devotees together. We go with the tent, put the tent, and then it's all fun along with chanting Hare Krishna. So that was very, very interesting. So the king should create an atmosphere of Sankirtan. Anybody in this age of Kali wants to become successful must see what is the Yuga Dharma. Every Yuga has a Dharma. So obviously, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj must have opened big temples. But those things are, I don't know what are the records. We know that one case where Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his own father and his men. Prahlad's mother Kayadhu was so frightened, she wanted to pray Krishna. But in Hiranyakashipu's kingdom, there is not a single temple of Vishnu. There were temples of Lord Shiva, but there were no temples of Vishnu. So she looked after, she searched after, and she could not find. And she came back and prayed to Narada and sought his help, how she can call out for the Lord for the protection of her son, Prahlada. So those days, 5,000 years ago, I can very well imagine that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj must have made, and his predecessors must have made abundant opportunity for people to be involved in temple activity. So temples in villages, temples in cities, big temples in different zones. So those kind of planning must have been done. Similarly, in this age of Kali, this is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, is the presiding deity of this yuga, because he is the presiding deity. How the population would be happy? Population would be happy if the government or the leaders, they make arrangement for Sankirtan. Every day, early morning, people take Prabhat ferry and perform Sankirtan. The Gaur Purnima is coming. I request our people here to organize Sankirtan. We must do Sankirtan. And so Prabhat ferry in the morning, in the evening, street Sankirtan. So these kind of things, and then prasadam distribution. So these are some of the things that government must make sure And it is not that everybody is forced to participate. Those who want to participate, they will participate. But facilities must be created. Encouragement must be given. Government must tell its own employees to participate in these functions in large numbers. If they do that, then people will become naturally happy. People don't become happy because you provide them the items of sense gratification. We should give them basic necessity. They should get proper shelter, proper pure organic food, pure air. These are some of the things that pure water and lot of natural resources must be there. These are the things that government should do. Government should do or make effort by preserving the natural resources, the rivers. What is happening nowadays? Rivers, they have no water. They're mostly dried up. These are the things that government should do. Enough water in the river, enough trees on the hills, enough herbs in the hills. So like that, things must be done according to Raja Dharma. And this is what exactly Bhīṣmadeva is going to teach Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. So what happened? Because Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj could not be pacified by the arrangement of Krishna, he was brought by Krishna or by the will of Krishna to the place where Bhīṣmadeva is lying on the bed of arrows. Okay? And Krishna wanted to glorify Bhīṣmadeva. And people all over the Brahmanda, they knew that Bhīṣmadeva is going to leave his body because he got this ichha mrityu by the blessings of his father. So those days, even the fathers can bless you. And when Bhīṣma took the oath or vow that he is not going to marry and he would remain always obedient to Kuru throne and would protect the Kuru throne. So by that kind of promise, he pleased his father. And his father blessed him that I am giving you ichha mrityu. If suppose somebody gives me ichha mrityu, I will say, Krishna, now I am taking Bhagavatam, please take me. Enough is enough. In this material world, there is no aspiration to live further unless you specifically think that I am qualified to do something for your pleasure. Otherwise, take me just now. Ichha mrityu is such a wonderful thing. And when you are perfectly Krishna conscious, you give up your life, unless Krishna specifically tells you that you do this. Otherwise, why to sustain a life in a mad world where everybody is absolutely illusion? Nobody has any affection for Krishna. Even among devotee community, we try to bring them to hear Krishna Katha, to chant. They do, but hardly you will find people who are really very serious to make progress. And because their numbers are so small, you feel that what is the point of doing this kind of service where hardly people are interested in Krishna consciousness. So obviously, given a Ichamrityu, I would say, oh Krishna, whatever time, I will may prepare myself and say, this is the time, I am now perfectly Krishna conscious. Please take me back to your lotus feet. Because Krishna, unless he uses us, we are very vulnerable to the wrath of Maya. Maya has punctured biggest people on earth from time to time. It is not that we have heard how Vishwamitra was punctured by Menaka, or Mandhata's daughters captured, Savari. In Gaudiya Vaishnava history, we have seen how Maya has entrapped very, very, very powerful devotees. So that should give us enough warning that don't play with Maya. Maya is so vast, so powerful. It can make us a puppet and bewilder us and drag us to the path of adharma within no time. Because Kali wants adharma to spread in leaps and bounds. That is why this is Kali Yuga. And Kali Purusha is empowered to spread the seed of quarrel. Anybody and everybody in this world can be destroyed by Kali Purusha. So devotees, unless Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daiving Prakriti Masrita, unless we take complete shelter of internal potency of Krishna in the form of instructions of Guru and Krishna, in the form of association with Sadhu, Guru and Shastra, it is very, very difficult to maintain our Krishna consciousness. So if we are able to do something in Krishna's service in this age of Kali, we should feel very, very happy that Krishna used me. So when we are able to do some service in relation to Krishna, we should be very, very happy, because only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna we can do some service. Otherwise it is not possible. So anyway, this particular verse was very, very important, because Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj has reached the place in Kurukshetra where Bhīṣmadeva is lying in the bed of arrows, and he has not given up his life. So when you have the benediction of giving up your life according to your will, when you are lying on the bed of arrows, you should have given up your life. But this Bhīṣmadeva was so powerful, extraordinarily powerful. Even in the bed of arrows, he could meditate on Krishna's lotus feet. And he must be releasing, his meditation on Krishna's lotus feet so much that he didn't feel this is the bed of arrows. Rather, he must have felt that this is the bed of rose petals in which he is lying. Otherwise, even a small thorn is inside our body, our mind would go there. It would be so distracted until and unless the thorn is taken away, you will never be peaceful. In case of Bhīṣmadeva, thousands of arrows has pierced his body, and still his consciousness is crystal clear. My dear friends, please meditate on the situation of Bhīṣmadeva and just think that in that situation, he is not giving up his life, although he has Ichhamrityu. Why? You must ask this question. The answer is only one. The answer is Bhīṣmadeva was perfectly Krishna conscious. He was unaffected by the pain caused by the thousands of arrows piercing his body from one end to the other. And he is not at all disturbed by such situation. Rather, he is eagerly waiting for Krishna to come and give him his darshan. And that is when he would like to give up his body. And this is the extraordinary way a great soul, even Pandavas, they didn't get this opportunity. Pandavas missed Krishna before they left their body. Krishna left. Whereas when Bhīṣmadeva left his body, Krishna was personally present and gave a very compassionate, empathetic darshan to Bhīṣmadeva. Krishna is all pure. His holy name is all pure. His Lila is all pure. And we will see in Bhīṣmadeva's prayer, he would remember all his natural reciprocation. Krishna has come hundreds of times to Hastinapur, and he must have many intimate reciprocation with Krishna. That is why in devotee community, we must learn how to serve devotees. Because unless we learn how to serve devotees, we cannot feel the presence of Krishna. Krishna's presence will be only felt when we learn how to appreciate devotees, how to serve them, how to be empathetic with them, how to make sure they are happy in Krishna's service. When you do this, devotees will be happy. Then you will feel the presence of Krishna. Krishna likes when we make devotees happy. So Bhīṣmadeva wants to see Pandavas to be happy. He wants to see the Pandavas are coronated as the prince, outrage. So this is what is Bhīṣmadeva's desire. He's lying on the bed of arrows, but he wants to glorify Pandavas. He wants to see the Pandavas are they have been tortured, injustice have been done to them from the very beginning, and Bhīṣmadeva is feeling within his heart helplessness for not being able to stop Duryodhana from continuing his nuisance. He tried his best, but he could not. So he wants to see Pandavas happy. So Bhīṣmadeva has few desires. He wants Krishna to be in front of him as he is about to depart for the for the spiritual abode of Krishna, lotus feet. Plus, he wants to see Pandavas in their original position. So, dear devotees, from these past times, let us understand what is meaning of prajā-drohāt, what is meaning of leadership. When we take leadership, we should be very much afraid of all those for whom we are responsible. Like, as a spiritual leader, you are supposed to take care of so many under your guidance. So how well you are taking care of them, that has to be one of the prime concern for any spiritual leader. Okay. So this is one point. Second point is how Bhīṣmadeva is lying on the bed of arrows. He could have given up his life, but still he waited for Krishna to come and give him darshan. And he wanted all the Pandavas to become happy. They should get back their kingdom. And they should be engaged in their own occupational duty while pleasing Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any question? Meghana, what is the difference between sadhu and guru? No distinction. Guru is he who gives you constant, who monitors your spiritual progress. Where sadhu is also a guru, but he may not be monitoring your spiritual progress, but you happen to get an opportunity to serve him. Otherwise, sadhu, guru are same. Amrit Panda, in the morning it is easy to give ourselves to the activities of Krishna consciousness, but as day progresses, it becomes difficult to remain in the association of sadhu and shastra. What to do in such situation? It all depends. If you are a brahmachari, you cannot give excuse that, oh, daytime I am not Krishna conscious. For a brahmachari, he should be always on the street. Sometime distributing books, sometime begging donation to run the temple, sometime making arrangement for conducting program. So like that. And for grihasthas, they have to put 6-7 hours for earning money. And for sannyasis, they should use the daytime to develop that dependency on Krishna. So different people will have different ways. Chandan Sharma, does Lord Chaitanya comes in every Kali Yuga? Yes, but not as Gaur Krishna, Gaur Narayan. Gaur Narayan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Gaur Narayan comes in every Kali Yuga, but he came as Gaura Krishna in this Kali Yuga specifically, because only that Yuga in which Krishna appears in Dwapara, then the succeeding Yuga, which is Kali, in that Gaur Purnima, Gaurang Mahaprabhu comes as Gaura Krishna. Is it possible for us to attain that state of Krishna consciousness like Bhīṣmadeva? Meghna Mataji is saying, yes. Yes. Each one of us should strive to attain the level of Krishna consciousness that Bhīṣmadeva has. That is why he is Mahājana. We must follow in their path, footstep, but we should not imitate them. Everybody can get the similar level, even beyond. We have seen Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. He was whipped by 4 Muslims using iron chain. And he tolerated all their torture, simply withdrew himself from everything external and chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And these 4 people, they got tired so much, and they saw that this person, nothing is happening to him. And then they, on the advice of Haridas Thakur himself, they threw him into the river. And so this is, in this age of Kali, we should aspire some ideal devotees, their conduct, their behavior, and we should aspire how to emulate those conduct, behavior by our action. That would be nice. Next. Okay, there are no more questions. So we stop today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Pramana Hari Hari Bo.